Hey guys, welcome to Chit Chat with QT, where I discuss reality TV, hot topics, celebrity news, and more. The views that I express in my videos are my own personal opinions for entertainment purposes only, for researching, commenting, criticism, and everything is alleged. So let's get into the video, guys. And for those that don't watch the show and look for a complete review in one video, I'm going to apologize in advance. I always break mine down in scenes because it's a lot. For this scene, I have over 15 pages of notes. So yeah, I can't do it all at once. I apologize. But let's get into season 5, episode 6. We need a resolution of when a woman, a wife, allows her man and her husband to take her voice. So this video is about the scene of Latisha going over to Maurice and Kimmy's house. And Tisha sits down when she walks in and she tells them that her and Marcel had a talk the night before after the big blow up at Destiny's reopening. And she said that Marcel told her in a situation like that, she just needs to be quiet and listen to him. And I'm sorry, but as much as Marcel cusses, I can guarantee he didn't say it in that way. I think it went something like this. When I'm talking, shut the fuck up. Now, those are my words, but that's what Marcel gives. And then Tisha says that she told Marcel, "Who are you talking to? That's very disrespectful." And that she had nothing to do with what went on. And I'm sorry, Tisha. Number one, you don't give off "who are you talking to" vibes. You just don't. I don't see her saying that. I see her sitting there like a child, like she does most times while she's in Marcel's presence, especially if things are a little heated. So I'm not buying that. But she tells Maurice, "I wish you would talk to him about how he talks to me," because she's really getting fed up with it. And here's my thing. No one else's words will ever change Marcel's but Tisha. That's it. Tisha is what? 15, 16 years into her marriage, and she has to ask somebody else to talk to her husband. She doesn't already have that established with Marcel of what he will and will not say to her and how he will and will not treat her. She's so big on, "I've been married for 15 years. We got the longest out of everybody, but you need to go to somebody else and ask them to talk to your husband." No, ma'am. She accepted this bullshit even up to this moment. I mean, just yesterday, they were on a live where she is basically saying the same damn thing. He's letting her know that she's basically not shit without him. So that'll come in a video after this, but let me get back to the scene. The only thing that will change Marcel is Tisha divorcing his ass or at least separating from him to let him know, "You're not going to treat me like a kid." But then we go back to Maurice and Kimmy in their confessional, and he's basically chuckling, saying, "Yeah, we can talk to Marcel about Tisha's hurt feelings, but talking to Marcel is like talking to yourself." And he's saying, "I don't know what Tisha wants me to do again, because can't nobody stop Marcel from doing what he wants to do." That's my interpretation of what Maurice said in the confessional. He can't say shit to Marcel. And then we go back to Mr. Legs, Hips, and Body Yaddy, Marcel pulling up. And when he walked in, that toughness that Tisha was trying to display walked right on out the door. Maurice and Kimmy asked him what's his take on the Madani event, And he said that tension was building up for people that was not going to fight their own battles and that people were in a position of protection, meaning he and Martell. And then he goes on to say he and Martell were able to squash their beef that quickly. Now remember, the event was the day before. And Marcel has squashed the beef that quickly with Martell, but he's mad at Tisha. Why? He said he and Martell does not have an issue with each other. And no, really, Marcel, you and Martell don't have an issue. And you know why, and we know why. You're going to forever suck up to Martell as long as he's quiet about what the hell he knows you did, along with him, back in his cheating days against Mel. We know Martell knows the truth about your ass. You've kept him at bay by way of promises to do business with him, and you've dismissed and swept under the rug every time Martell said your ass was cheating. So yeah, we know you're going to keep Martell right there. But anyway, Marcel says in his confessional that he and Martell talk logically like men and that they both are going to protect their families and they don't want the families to put themselves in harm's way. And that I can agree with. But that's not why Marcel squashed it. So it goes back to Kimmy saying this pops up every year and rears its ugly head. And does he feel like it's gone? Marcel says Mel and Wanda both are not the type to back down, and it wouldn't be shit to back down from Marcel had Wanda not more than once talked about those kids, even up to a couple days ago when she was on a live panel on YouTube. She hasn't learned shit, and as long as she's on that show, we will continue to see things like what happened. We'll see people confronting Wanda. And I'm just going to say Mel and Martell. We'll see them defending their kids. Because Wanda's not going to talk about Maurice's son. She's not going to do that. Wanda's not going to say shit about Destiny's child. She's not going to do that. Wanda's really not going to say anything about her own grandkids and how they're being affected by a husband that's a ruler and her own goddamn daughter don't have a voice. But anyway, let me get back to the scene. Kimmy asks Marcel, what's the fix? And Marcel says, if Wanda can't control herself, she can't be a part of my life. Keyword, his life. And that's what I think he told Tisha the night before. But of course, in a nastier way. And that's the BS I don't like because cameras should have been rolling. Don't say the real shit behind closed doors and your real feelings, but come out here into the public, you're going to try to sugarcoat and be nice about the disrespect of Wanda's ass. And I think Marcel laid into Tisha's ass because he's told her time and time again that her ghetto ass mama Wanda is wrong and oversteps her boundaries, and that he will leave her ass if she does not control her mom. I think he'll leave her. But then Maurice tells Marcel Wanda's going to be connected to Tisha regardless, which she will. But she does not have to be connected to Tisha and this show. She does not have to be connected to Tisha and her marriage. None of that. Remove her ass from this show. Tisha needs to drive those kids to see their ghetto ass grandmother every other weekend, and your problem is solved. But Marcel says, yeah, what happened was real life, and someone could have ended up in the hospital or dead. So he said that in his confessional. But he tells Maurice, I'm not putting myself in that situation again, and that women don't understand the collateral damage that goes on. And I hate when he does that. I hate when he generalizes or specifies women. Like women don't understand shit. Men are smarter than women, huh, Marcel? No, women understand, like Mel understood, and that's why she let that shit slide with Wanda until she couldn't take it anymore. But your ghetto ass mother-in-law is the one that doesn't understand. Not all women. Your wife doesn't understand because she refuses to check her mama. And let me say, I don't expect Tisha to just go off on her mother on TV because that is her mom. And I'll get into more of that on my video regarding the scene with Funky Dineva. But Tisha can very much sit Wanda's ass down and let her know, look, you're affecting my marriage. You're affecting my job, this show, and you need to stop. Or I have no choice but to distance myself from you. You're my mom. I'll always love you, but this has to stop. Tisha can't tell her mama that? So we go back to Kimmy and Tisha talking in the kitchen. Kimmy tells Tisha that Marcel views Tisha getting into it with Mel as Marcel ending up in jail. And that's true. But Marcel also knows that Mel and Martel knows the real dirt. And as long as Tisha don't shut her ass up with Mel, then it's a possibility that Mel and Martel will blow his spot up. But Kimmy tells Tisha that people really don't know what to do because Wanda is Tisha's mom, and that it would be a whole different conversation if Wanda wasn't her mom. And I'm sorry, but fuck that. And excuse my French. It's beyond time for the real conversation to happen. Stop coddling Tisha's over 40 ass. Give her the truth about her mama. And let her know, if you don't tell your mama to sit her ass down, you may find yourself living back on the other side of the tracks with her. But back to Marcel and his misogynistic ass views, and he was telling Maurice that, regardless of his leadership aspect of things, he listens to Tisha, and even though he will make the ultimate decision, there's a lot of input. When it comes to safety, and a few times he's had to protect her, he does not need any of her feedback. And he needs her to listen immediately. What? He's going to make the ultimate decision. He needs her to listen immediately. And like I said, he's basically saying he needs her to shut the hell up. That's it, that's all. And look, Wanda deserved to get that ass tapped, if you ask me. But as a woman, you are not about to lecture me, and I take my eyes off my mama. How he pulled Tisha away from everything during Mel and Wanda arguing, and how she had to stand there and listen to him like she was a child was bullshit. I don't care what nobody say. Yeah, you can talk to me about this, but you're going to talk to me later. Because right now, my mother is in a battle, arguing, and I don't know if somebody is about to hit her. And Tisha even said herself in a confessional she wasn't going to fight. She has too much to lose. But Marcel being Marcel and doing exactly what he just said, his leadership, Tisha's going to follow. No, you're not pulling me away from my mama, whether she was right or wrong. I'm going to see what's going on with my mama. So yeah, men should protect women and all of that, but in that moment, Tisha should have stood her ground, period. But Kimmy tells Tisha, Marcel adores you. He's your protector. And Tisha says she understands that, and she says that last night he told her she should be silent and she shouldn't say anything. Silent. And she tells Kimmy that she told him, you can't say that, like she doesn't have a voice. And he told her, you don't have a voice in that situation. Unbelievable. But Tisha, you don't have a voice. You've never had a voice. Your voice is what your husband thinks. That's it, and that's all. She told Kimmy it's hurtful and that he was disrespectful to her and that she is not a slave. Now, that slave part was very telling to me, and I've said this before. Marcel rules with an iron fist. It's his way or the highway. And what he says goes. And he's not going to bend on that. And it's sad to see Tisha in the year of 2022 not having any say-so on anything. You are a slave, Tisha. And it's very hard to watch year after year, and that's why people call Tisha weak. Tisha went to school as a hobby, if you ask me. Those degrees are basically for nothing because she's not running Sculpts. We know that. Tisha is running her household, those kids. She's a stay-at-home mom, and she's still proving that right until this day. So, like I mentioned, I'm going to have a video after this that's going to prove that. But unfortunately, she's married to a man that does not want her to have a say-so. He does not want her to have a career. He does not want her to have a life outside of him. That's not her place, according to Marcel. And as long as she puts up with that, that's what it's going to be. But the scene ends with Kimmy and Tisha going back outside, taking their men some refreshments, and Marcel is talking about basically straight bullshit. He wants to get back to boss business and building, and he and Marcel are still talking about the Madani Suites. There ain't no Madani Suites. Destiny doesn't even own the building. So get out of here with that fake-ass storyline. But he says he wants to still work with Marcel. Tisha attempts to have a voice when Maurice asks her, well, what's your goal, Tisha? Her goal is to do and say what Marcel says. Because we just saw a couple weeks ago, Tisha was this big boss, sitting in black, talking to Marcel, trying to get a job. And we know Tisha doesn't have a goal. It's what Marcel wants. But Tisha says she does not want to work with Marcel, and she does not know how she would fit into the whole thing. Wait, you're the majority owner, right? You're the president. You can't override Marcel. Like I said, it's a fake-ass storyline. But she says they can't keep ignoring Marcel's signs, and that he's shown, and with the fight that almost happened, that her husband was the aggressor of. But Marcel shows where he is, and she's not comfortable working with Marcel. Kimmy says, yeah, how you going to get into business with someone you're fighting with? Tisha says Marcel is going to work with him regardless, and we know why. But Tisha asks Marcel, is that what you're saying? Because she really does not want to assume. And Marcel jumps into his fake acting role, and he says, no, I'm not going to go outside of my household, and my wife is the president of their company, and if she does not want to work with Marcel, then he won't. Maurice asks if they would hire little puppy dog Marcel to do certain things, and they all got a real big chuckle out of that. And then Marcel said hiring an unlicensed contractor to do certain things won't work. The shade of it all. But if that's the case, why did this fake-ass storyline happen anyway about Marcel helping with the Madani Suites? He's unlicensed. Why are you guys still talking about that if he can't even do the work? But yeah, this scene was very telling. What we didn't see, though, is Maurice doing what Tisha asked, which was asking Marcel to watch how he talks to Tisha because she's upset about it. Why didn't we see that? They had time to talk about it when Tisha and Kimmy went in the house. But I know why. You guys should know why. Marcel made it clear that he's not going to delve deep into his personal issues anymore on a reality show, and that he's going to keep it basically about his business. And Carlos King's allows that. But yeah, Tisha has no voice, and what a poor representation that is to women and to her daughters. This is not the last century when women were fighting for rights. We've seen Kimmy working as a nurse and realtor. We've seen Mel working even when she was married with Marcel. What have we seen Tisha do? Outside of Marcel, not a goddamn thing, but be a stay-at-home mom. She's stroking his ego. And what good are the degrees? Because you'll have to wait, what, years until the kids are out the house to even implement those degrees? And by that time, where's your work history for the degrees that you have? Now, if this was Tisha's choice to be a stay-at-home mom, I would have no problem with that at all. But it's not. She's shown that time and time again. And in my next video, you'll see her 3 years ago begging to have a life outside of home. So this is not her decision. It's her controlling ass, egotistical ass husband, Marcel. And until Tisha stands up as a woman, this won't change. So yeah, that was that scene basically. They clowned Marcel for not having that license, and I'll get into more of that in my scene recap of Mel and Marcel. But yeah, Tisha will be what Tisha is until she really gets some balls. And I know women can't have balls, but she needs to get some balls. This is not 1950. I'm sorry. And I will never agree with that. No, she doesn't have to snap off on her husband. She does not have to do any of that. But she should stand up for herself. Stand up for her own rights as a woman. It's sad to see. But you guys drop down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on this scene. My next video will be Mel and Marcel's sit down. And after that, I will combine Destiny, Stormy, and Tiffany's interactions with each other. But drop down. Let me know your thoughts on this scene. Also, please make sure to like the video, hit that notification bell, and subscribe. Chat with you guys soon. Bye.